Hello everyone, you are watching Upcoming World TV. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell button to get all the informative video notification at the earliest. Today's video on Pakistan credit rating, which is under review on debt relief concerns, says Moody's credit rating agency. Moody's has placed Pakistan's long-term B3 ratings on review for downgrade as it expects the country to request bilateral debt service relief from G20 creditors under the recently announced initiative causing losses to private sector creditors. Moody's on Thursday 14 May 2020 said that suspension of debt service obligations to official creditors would be unlikely to have rating implications, but the G20 has called on private sector creditors to participate in the initiative on comparable terms. The agency will assess whether Pakistan's participation in the initiative would likely entail default on private sector debt. The country has not indicated an interest in extending the debt service relief request to the private sector. Any losses expected to arise from that participation would be consistent with a lower rating, the agency said in a press release. The rapid spread of coronavirus, sharp deterioration in the global economic outlook, and a significant reduction in risk appetite are creating a severe economic and financial shock, it added. For Pakistan, the current shock transmits mainly through a sharp slowdown in economic activity, lower tax revenue as economic activity slows, and higher government financing needs relative to pre-coronavirus levels, said the agency. Moody's expects Pakistan's economy to contract by around 1% in the current fiscal year, and to grow by 2 to 3% in the fiscal year of 2021 as below potential. The economic slowdown will weigh on government revenue and modestly raise spending, in turn pushing the fiscal deficit wider to 10% of GDP. Suspension of repayments to private creditors could trigger a downgrade. As a result, Moody's projects the government's debt burden to reach around 85 to 90% of GDP by June 2020. However, the government's commitment to fiscal reforms, including under its 2019 to 2022 International Monetary Fund program, provides a crucial anchor for the continued expansion of its revenue base when economic activity gradually normalizes. Overall, Moody's expects that the debt burden will return to a downward trend after the initial shock. The macroeconomic adjustments that have occurred over the past 18 to 24 months have also reduced external vulnerability risks in the face of a potentially significant shock. Moody's projects the current account deficit to be relatively narrow, around 2% of GDP in this and the next fiscal year, as lower goods and oil imports offset a fall in remittances inflows. Combined with financing inflows from multilateral and bilateral official lenders, the balance of payments is likely to be broadly stable, containing pressure on the exchange rate. Moody's said that ongoing reforms that pointed to a nascent improvement in credit fundamentals before the outbreak and financing from development partners contain the pressure on the country's liquidity and external positions. Concurrently, Moody's has also placed the B3 foreign currency senior unsecured ratings for the third Pakistan International Sukuk Co. Limited under review for downgrade. The rating agency said that for the countries that elect to seek official sector debt service relief, the initiative may also lead to the suspension of payments or renegotiation of private sector debt service obligations. It is in this context that Moody's has placed Pakistan's ratings under review, in line with the rating agency's approach globally. During the review period, the rating agency will assess whether Pakistan's participation in the initiative will indeed be implemented without the private sector, consistent with the intended voluntary nature of private sector participation, or whether any losses may be expected to arise for private sector creditors that would be consistent with a lower rating. Pakistan has not indicated any interest in extending the debt service relief to include private sector creditors. Moody's assesses that the main impact of the coronavirus shock is on Pakistan's economic growth, which raises fiscal challenges and delays the government's fiscal consolidation and debt reduction efforts. Ongoing and significant financial and technical support from development partners, as well as the effective use of monetary policy, mitigate the impact of the shock on the sovereign's liquidity and external positions. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share the video and subscribe to the channel.